thank Christopher Columbus enough, and I think it's so special I get to play in Miami, where Christopher Columbus is located, in front of all my Columbus brothers. Can you it's kind of hard here. Can you transcribe that?
And ultimately, when I got to talk to the coaching staff, talk to
Thank you. Yeah, I would say it means so much to myself and my family, having grown up in Miami, growing up a University of Miami fan, and basically the whole identity being, a Cuban living in Miami whose grandparents, all four grandparents, immigrated from Cuba to Miami, made their way, had the American dream, and I've been so thankful to them and thankful to God that I've been able to have a good childhood, and them raising me by accomplishing the American dream. And I think it just means so much to my family as playing in Miami against the University of Miami. The kind of a journey. It's kind of like a full circle moment, but also it means a lot to all my teammates and coaches and also everybody in Hoosier Nation, just because it's a national championship. And so I can selfishly say, it means so much to me, but in reality, I do it for my teammates and my coaches because the national championship, it's the big one, and I really do it for them. Yeah, I would say there was like a whole little, like a band playing. It was great to hear, Hispanic music coming off the plane, and it was a great feeling sentiment, kind of the Miami weather. Being in Bloomington, it's a little colder over there. It's out of the Miami weather and humidity slap you in the face. It was a great reminder of home, and I think that, I'm really looking forward to playing in Miami, especially with a lot of family and people who've helped pour into myself to get myself to this point in my journey. I'm really proud of it.
You've been historically efficient right now, 5 games, 4 touchdowns. What is it right now that you're seeing? Trust your eyes, how to let it rip, how much that goes to the offensive line?
Yeah, I would say it all goes to the offensive line. Without those guys, I wouldn't be able to do it, and with them, I'm able to get through my entire progression. So week 1 through week 5 or 6, I'm able to get through it, have time to get through it, and just check it down. I think that's why my completion percentage has been so high, is because I haven't really had to throw the ball away much, and just because they've been so efficient up front. And also, I would say I have such great teammates, such great receivers, tight ends, running backs, and we talk about offensive line, that I just need to be a point guard. I just need to dish it out over here to Elias Surratt, over there to Omar Cooper Jr., Charlie Becker, and, or hand the ball off, or check into a run. So I would say I just need to be a point guard of the offense and really facilitate it all, and the talent is really around me. So I think that's how I've been so efficient.
To me, I'm so trying to get on to the next thing.
I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't see it. I see it places. People do send, friends and family do send it to me. However, I always tell them I'm really just focused on the next game, as this is the national championship. It's what we worked all year for, and people in, last January weren't talking about the Indiana Hoosiers in the national championship. So I owe it to my teammates, and to my coaches, and to the entire Hoosier Nation to give it my all. And I would also say that it's such an important game in my life and my teammates' life that present moment in order to make most of the present, and that's how you make a great future for yourself. Yeah, I would say that it's been such a special. I can't think of those guys and in the meeting rooms. It's the word to describe it. And then also, my message to the youngsters, briefed it in my Heisman speech. No matter what star recruit you are, if you're too, you're not high ranked enough, you can do it. You can do it. You gotta put the work in. And as a kid, I always heard these messages. I'm like, okay, does I really mean that? A little bit of self-doubt. But now, and live that journey, it really has come full circle. The same message to those youngsters.
Fernando, you dream about this moment as a kid, and also, I mean, you mentioned, playing Miami also.
Yeah, I would say it feels great. Tickets are definitely a problem because there's game. However, I've attempted to not let it sink in, so I can stay in the present moment and kind of stay in the football mindset that I want. There's so many externalities in this game. Playing. And really kind of force it not to sink in. It can sink in next week or the week after, but I really just want to focus on football now to get my teammates.
Yeah, I say it's surreal. I also think it's great for the Christopher Columbus community. We have so many great individuals.
Built from the same cloth, are built from that gritty structure that, whatever it's battle, whatever trial or tribulations, they're always going to. I think, Mark Crispo has done a fantastic job with the Hurricanes in his entire coaching career, coaching under Saban, then to Oregon, then to Miami. I think it's been a great football headlight of the Christopher Columbus community, along with so many others, and really paved the path for Christopher Columbus football players such as myself.
Yeah, it would mean a lot, and I know how much it would mean to people, and I know that the best way to accomplish this goal is to really just focus on the football.
And really just trying to dial it in for this game and treat it as a normal game. Although it's not a normal game, to treat it as one, and although you can prepare a little bit more, and although that it's going to, externalities are going to pressure it to be a little bit more than a normal game, to really, really keep it in that mindset, in that football mindset, and do my part, do my 1 of 11 part on offense, and 1 of 22, my one job out of 22 jobs on offense and defense, in order to give us the best chance to win. Just because I know myself focusing on the job and myself focusing on the present gives the Hoosiers the best chance to win, and I owe it to my teammates, to my coaches, and also Hoosier Nation.
I can speak for everyone, just very grateful for where we are. Sure, there's many days where there's long days, you gotta
My favorite team to play for would be the Indiana Hoosiers, especially on Monday night. That's it wasn't a time opportunity to play in the national championship, and I'm really just focused on the present and NFL. And the things the task at hand is a national championship, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so I'm going to stay in the present and really just focus on this national championship for now. Thank you so much. God bless. Well, I would say the talent in Christopher Columbus is such a big stage because there's so many great. And I would say that it's really they're all cut from the same cloth of that grit, the hard work, and that brotherhood, and know how to connect with each other in order to, instead of individuals, combine each other's efforts to multiply instead of add, to multiply into, getting that goal, into accomplishing that mission, or defeating that opponent. And so I think it's a great honor to represent Christopher Columbus High School, and I think that, and I know that the ones on the University of Miami will most likely say the same. I think it's just a great clash. I know someone's like, oh, it's a Cuban Bowl, it's a Christopher Columbus Bowl, and so just what a great opportunity that, the Christopher Columbus community will get to experience. Thanks. Yeah, I would say the roster makeup is a lot different, especially because I'm on a new team, and University of Miami did a great job reloading, if not getting better than last year, and they also have a new defensive coordinator too. So, preparing as a quarterback, you really try to prepare against the defensive coordinator or the defensive players. And there's a lot of turnover there. However, I really learned from that game is how much passion University of Miami Hurricanes play with. It's a real mentality going on in that defense, and they're going to hit you hard. They're going to try to get into your head. They're going to trash talk you, and they're going to give it their all. So I think it's going to be, and we saw last year, it came down to essentially the last play. It was a 1-point game, 39-38, and I still remember that to this day. And it was a great game. And it was a great game for, especially for college game day, putting that on national television. And I really learned a lot about Miami defense, and they're not quitters. They're not quitters, and they have a lot of passion in how they play, and I really respect that. Thank you, guys.
It's one whole, right? It's a sum of all of our parts. What we always talk about the seniors, the University of Indiana, is the Indiana University. So he's a leader.
Yeah, I would say the communication kind of went through my younger brother, Fernando Mendoza, and there's like a Christopher Columbus like football group chat, and I was always like, oh, like as soon as you guys beat Ohio State, then they overcame that challenge. Oh, you guys gonna beat Alabama, then we overcame that challenge, and you know. Deep down, you're always rooting for your boys. So there's so many players at University of Miami that I know that I play with at the Christopher Columbus High School, and also coaches that I know through that tree. And so you're always like deep down, essentially like rooting for them because you know them personally. And now that we've both overcame those challenges, those tough challenges to get to the national championship, we want to win, they want to win, and so as competitors, you know, communication is going to get cut off, but I would say it's going to be great, you know, sharing the field with those guys and with those other Christopher Columbus brothers that I have, and, you know, as much as I love them, you know, I'm going to do everything possible to make sure the Hoosiers leave victorious on Monday. Thank you.
I think it's just the way we play. I found myself, how this together.
Hard Rock Stadium, before Hard Rock Stadium, but Hard Rock Stadium, and so I know how much it means to the community, and how much the University of Miami community has been waiting for this moment, and kind of resurgence. I know it's been a fantastic football program, but resurgence to like the national championship level, I know how much it means. However, as a kid being a University of Miami fan, I'm also right now like my loyalty lies to the Hoosiers, and so I know how much it means to both sides. It'll be the first national championship in Hoosier history, and it'll be a little bit of a resurgence. And these legends like Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin, Ed Reed all being a part of this, run here. I think it means a lot for both sides. So whoever becomes victorious is going to mean a lot for those communities, and it's my job to make sure that I give the Hoosiers the best chance to win. Yeah, I would say there's a lot of people that have been in my journey that have enabled myself to get to this point. If I would say it's a dolo cause, it's definitely not. The only reason I've gotten to this point is because there's so many different people in my journey, and they've been one. They've always, provided mass, and I'm a Catholic. I'm a Catholic man, and they've done so much to help me, whether it's, confession, or just, Bible talk, or just Mass every Sunday. So, I really give a lot that I have accomplished this season in my life to the Lord. I really give thanks to God. And for example, for the Heisman, the first thing I say in the Heisman speech is like, give all glory to God. Like, thank you so much to God. And so I thought it was really important to take it over those guys, especially those guys who've been great religious mentors to myself. Thanks.
People look back to practice season, how do you want people to remember Fernando Mendoza? And also, you think of some of the times he
Yeah, I did that video a long time ago. I don't know exactly when I was in the season, and I'm a fan of Louis Vert's music. Always have since like 7th grade, and so yeah, it was super cool. However, my whole thing is like kind of kill the external, distractions. And I love Louis. I'm not saying he's a distraction. I'm just saying like trying to focus on the game. Yeah. So I would say, it'd be great to see him there.
How do you want to be remembered?
Oh, remember, sorry about that. Yeah, I would say that, everyone's going to remember this game. And so it's my my duty to Hoosier football and my teammates to put my focus and preparation into this game, because although, you know, it's great, won the Heisman, won the Rose and Peach Bowl, everyone's going to remember how it finished. And it's going to leave, remember how the taste that left in everybody's mouth. So hopefully we leave with a good taste on Monday. Thanks.
Right, we're going to go right here.
Oh, we're good.
Fernando, I think
You too.
about your brother Max. I think that he's historical, and he must think his Does he like football? Does he have a huge for that? What do you think he is?
Yeah, Max is a man, and whatever Max does or puts in his life, he's going to accomplish to great heights. Max, he does not play football at the moment, but he's a great musician, great water polo player, and even that, he's a great businessman in person. And so whatever Max does, I fully support. And you know, Max has done so much in my life to kind of give you that optimistic view and that joy. I really can't thank him enough. And you know, I have two fantastic younger brothers, and it's really been a pleasure to be an older brother. So I can you repeat that again? Can you hear? Wow. Yeah, I would say myself and Charlie Becker, the receiver, we're roommates and we watch a lot of movies together, so we always go on movie marathons. And we watch so many movies, the actors' names kind of get all like mixed up in my head. However, we watched, what was it the other day? Wow, I can't believe I forgot this. But it's a funny movie. It's about North Korea with James Franco. And so Charlie and I always we think he's a funny actor and good actor. But I mean, honestly, I don't want to hype myself up by saying a fantastic actor like that fit, but also don't want to sell myself short. So I mean, there's a lot of great actors, but I would say Fernando Mendoza. Yeah, I would say there's a lot of good staples in the Miami area that have made me who I am. I'd say like South Miami Grey Ghosts, and kind of growing up playing there as a part of football also helped myself grow to love football and learn how to connect with teammates, because none of the kids from my middle school, elementary school played for that team, and I was kind of like the new kid on the block there. And yeah, there's so many staples. Wow, I would say like my grandfather always took me to Casa Cuba. So that was always something great. I always, can remember like having breakfast there. And there's so many other different Miami staples. I think the one good thing about Miami, well, not one good thing, one of the many good things about Miami is how it's a cultural melting pot, and there's so many things in Miami that matter deeply to Miamians. And so I can go on and on about all the great staples in Miami. However, I think it's a great city, and whenever I'm done playing football, I'm definitely going to move back to Miami and live here.
We kind of want to have success for each other. We want to see each other succeed. I like to see we don't have any egos in my own level. I want to be successful.
I mean, character-wise? Okay, yeah, no doubt. I would say that no one's perfect, and our person I believe is perfect is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I have a lot of flaws, I have a lot of flaws to myself. Stand by as the Hoosiers rotate podium. Okay, yeah, so I say I have a lot of flaws. Like for example, my roommates, we don't mess with the boxes. Boxes with come in or order a package, and it's kind of there in the living room. So I can say I'm a little messy in that way, but also my room is very like OCD. Very OCD and tidy. So living room, I feel kind of bad for Charlie Becker because he lives in the middle floor, and I kind of just throw anything I don't want in my room kind of down there. I would also say that so many things that I got to work on. Sorry, you guys are ruining the night with that. I would say as a person, I would say just I'm a little bit of a people pleaser and always want to please everybody. And at some point, a lot of mentors have told me, like, yeah, so you want to please everybody, make a good impression on everybody, but you gotta really focus on the right things. And sometimes you gotta say no. Sometimes you gotta say no to really focus on your goal, focus on your preparation. And especially being here in Miami, playing Miami, there's been a lot of asks of myself. And I would say that I've been growing to try to combat that people pleaser mentality in myself, to say no and really keep the task at hand. There's always time later for that stuff. That's probably
Favorite Columbus story?
Yeah.
Everybody's asked a lot of questions about the Columbus connection, but we know that yesterday was a huge day in the Mendoza house. The youngest Mendoza and his Columbus connection. What happened yesterday for Max?
Yeah, Max Mendoza, my younger brother, so proud of him. He got into Columbus. It was at 4 p.m. He was really awaiting that deadline. So proud of Max, and I'm really, looking forward to see all the great things he does at Columbus. Thank you. Oh, he's a man. Yeah, so Floyd Fulp, or as I know, Professor Fulp, has been a great inspiration in my sports business life. As he's been a great, I took a class in sports and business with him, and he works for Learfield. He's a big shot in the sports business realm, and he's mentored myself and really given a lot of advice to myself on how to, really thrive in that space. And so, in Berkeley, I was able to, with one of my good friends, Becco Kelly, organically make the Mendoza Brewer, go up to the La Brewer store, cold pitch, and be like, hey, this is why you need it. It's going to go to charity. It's going to be great for yourself. We're not taking any profits. It's going to be great for the community and great for, the store. And at first, there's a little bit of back and forth, but, solid advice and help that ended up taking the deal. I think it was a great thing, not only for MS Research, but also for, just for everybody, for the Berkeley community, and also for myself and Beck to get, great business experience. Yeah. I got excited about Buffalo Louis and Gables Bagels there in Bloomington, so really appreciate anybody who's bought, the food item, and really appreciate it. I mean, I eat it all the time, but can't thank everybody enough for supporting MS Research.
We're going to go back.
How you doing?
All right. Obviously, you take a player out of Miami. I know you take a player. How much more space in your heart for South Florida?
Yeah, I would say still have a lot of space in my heart for South Florida. At this point, I don't have a lot of love for the Hurricanes, especially Monday night, but South Florida is a huge part of my heart. I want to live here after I'm done with all my football and business endeavors. And it's really grooming myself into the man and character I am today. There's been so many great, moments of football in South Florida, and the character testing moments in South Florida, and just like the entire South Florida community really showing how much the culture means to themselves and how much Miami means and South Florida means to each other has really helped myself learn how to care more for one another rather than just the self. And so I'm really so proud to be, a native South Florida resident, or I guess I'm not resident, but, being a South Florida native. And really just, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good talking. I also want to inspire Fernando Mendoza as my mother. My mother is my light, my everything, and she's my why. A lot of football players talk about who's their why. My mother is my why. To see her, fight and overcome the struggle with the optimism that she has, it means so much to myself, it means so much to my family, and she's been a great role model to myself, and I really just can't thank her enough. I'm so proud to be her son. I wouldn't want any other mother in the world. Yeah, it means a lot. I've always respected the algorithm, and I think the algorithm's advantage is they're always extremely witty. They're extremely witty, and they're, let's say sometimes a little smarter than their internet competition. And to see their support, well, I haven't seen their support because I deleted Twitter, but to hear about their support now throughout the season, it means a lot because, obviously it's tough departing Cal. I graduated. I'm a proud Berkeley alumni. However, departing Berkeley was very tough for myself, very tough for both parties, but they're in a great place now. They're a great quarterback in their realm, and they just have a great football team, especially now led by Coach Dupoy. So I really can't thank them enough, Calgary enough for their support, and look forward to reconnecting in the future. Yeah, there's a lot of teams in the transfer portal that really saw me on, hey, we're going to be a great team, one of great players around you. Coach Ignetti really sold me on, we're going to develop you. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell if we're going to be top 25 in the nation, number one, or outside of that top 25. However, I know that I develop quarterbacks. That's what I do. And with the the help of Coach Whitmer, who's been phenomenal, Coach Shanahan, and Coach Ignetti, I've been able to develop into the quarterback and made that exponential jump this year that I was aspiring to. And so I really, I'm thankful that he sold me on developing parameters as the quarterback, because that was one of the biggest things in deciding to school, is I want to become the best quarterback that I can control. I think it always goes back to the concepts of controlling the controllables and staying in the present moment.
To that end, stay with that. Going back to what was your first impression of as a coach? And what did you realize you were that first impression was right?
Yeah, I would say when I first stepped on campus in Bloomington, I realized that he's a great CEO, that he really runs a program the right way and the way that he wants to run it. And I would also say that, I really realized that he's really about business. He's not, there's not a lot of externalities, a lot of recruiting is kind of like loving up a little bit, talking about, he's just football. He's football, and he's all about being a CEO, which is running the Indiana Football Hoosiers program, which I really respect, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters.
Back here, you're one of the kind players when it comes to your LinkedIn and, all the social media posts about focus on finance. Can you talk about what the motivation is behind that?
Yeah, I would say my journey's had a lot of bumps and bruises, and a lot of trials and tribulations, and I was a two-star recruiter. And so when I got that full scholarship to Cal, I was like, wow, they made a mistake. Let's go. I'm going to try to, milk the hell out of this. I'm going to update my LinkedIn profile. I'm going to obviously give my best on the football field, but business-wise, I'm going to update my LinkedIn profile, make as many network connections as I can, and really just expand myself for a prosperous future. A lot of people say, Fernando, you always talk ChatGPT and AI, and I think at that point I was like, hey, I got to fix my speaking. So I took a lot of public speaking courses, and I also honestly just watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to public speak and how to make these connections. So from day one, I'm like, hey, stats say I'm probably not going to be able to make the NFL, and I probably won't ever play at Berkeley, which I was, wrong. But, thankfully, thank God. But at that point, I was like, I really just want to maximize this opportunity to have at hand. Let me just become a master networker, and a part of that is having a great LinkedIn profile. Yeah, I would say my family is a very Catholic family, and I have them as role models, and to see how they always, circle back to their faith and how much, God and Jesus has done in their lives and mine, especially this season is the season I've gotten the closest to be the most religious I've ever been, and I think it's also been reflected by the success, and really not success, but also the platform to also praise God and to praise Jesus Christ. And I would say this is a big part of myself and my identity, and we always got to thank the man upstairs. Yeah, I say a lot of joy for everybody in the program. Coach Ignetti, my teammates, the other coaches, the entire support staff. It brings myself joy seeing others have joy. And I know the ultimate joy is going to be winning this game on Monday. And so I'm just really proud that I'm a part of a community that has so much joy for each other and is so tightly connected with each other. Whereas Coach Ignetti, Coach Whitmer, Coach Shanahan, all my teammates in the locker room, it's just a tight-knit community, and we all know the goal we want to accomplish. And so that, being a part of that everyone strives to be a part of a bigger group. And them accepting me into this bigger group has got myself so much joy, and I hope I can bring them joy.
Right here in the middle.
I kind of pass that off to my marketing team. However, because I told him I want to be focused on the game. If I see him there, that'd be fantastic. I love his music. However, I'm really just trying to focus on the game just so I can, I really owe to my teammates. I owe to my teammates and owe to my coaches, and this is a very important game for them. And so, although seeing Luigi Berto would be fantastic and a plus for everybody, I know he's a very busy man.
Hi, Fernando. Good morning. I had a chance to take a look over at Christopher Columbus the other day. It was a very personal connection to South Florida and Florida Cristobal as well. What does it mean to you to be from this community, and what do you think it means to you to play in this community and have such a personal connection to the city?
I think it's great. I think it's great for the Christopher Columbus community, and I think it's great for the Miami community in general. I mean, the Hurricanes going to the national championship. I know how much that means, being a Hurricanes fan growing up. I know how much that means to the community. And I'm really glad that the Christopher Columbus community can kind of put little pieces of the puzzle together to the opposing team with myself and my younger brother Alberto. And so, you know, I'm really glad that I can give them joy, and that's what brings me joy. I mean, the Christopher Columbus community and the Miami community in general has done so much for myself. I would not be here without them today. So I really just, you know, give them all the props, and really looking forward to trying to represent Christopher Columbus High School to the best of my ability. Thanks. Yeah, I would say, honestly, that's a fantastic question. I would love to answer that. I don't think we got my teammates to kind of focus on the future, and so I'm really giving all my focus on the present right now. You know, to be drafted by any NFL team would be such an honor, and you know, really that'd be fantastic. However, every kid wants to get drafted. However, I'm really just trying to focus on the national championship game right now and really give my all for my teammates.
What do you feel like has to happen for Indiana to stay maybe 10 years, 20 years from now? We're talking about Indiana like Alabama, Ohio State.
Yeah, I would say that, I was just saying this. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't really know. I don't really know, but, you know, I know it's great leadership and the great players on our team that helped us with this quick rise. But, I mean, college football is so... It's so evolving nowadays that, you know, I can't tell you. There's going to be a new challenge, whether it's a new transfer portal restriction or something. It's about, I think college football is about whoever can adapt the quickest and take advantage of the situation. So whatever team, hopefully Indiana, is able to adapt to the situation at hand, I think they're going to succeed. What's up? I have no idea. I can't ask that question. Yeah, so I took one in high school, and I also took one account, along with just always, you know, having a mentor who is a public speaker, and also just watching YouTube videos in my free time, how to public speak, how to form responses, and kind of take them through the journey in a way, but not have too long-winded. I say that, not have too short-winded. And so I say it's such an important part is communication. That's how you really get yourself across the line. That's how you really portray yourself and give a good first impression to another person. And I would say that that's something that I would recommend to anybody, especially any young sports athlete, is the way you represent yourself and the way you're able to come across to your peers, to coaches, and to later ownership is so important in your journey. Mike Pawlowski, we talk a lot. He was a former quarterback at Cal, and he's a public speaker now. And there's been a lot of people in my life who have been public speakers, and I've really learned to evolve my public speaking game through them. Yeah, the relationship with the offensive line is so integral and so important with those guys. You know, I would die for those guys. Those guys put their body on the line to protect myself or the running backs every single play. And so it means so much to have not only great skill talent, but also great characters. They're great characters. You know, we always, you know, we watch football together at, you know, one of our teammates' house. We'll hang out outside of football and have that connection with those guys. Every quarterback always tries to love up their offensive lineman, you know, in the NFL, give them Christmas gifts. And so every chance I get, I always just try to hang out with those guys. And it's not like myself force myself to, because they're just such great people. It's just such a special connection that we have with each other. Yeah, I would say that he's been great. I think the mental part of being a quarterback, my superpower is not my athleticism. It's not, you know, the physical traits. It's really being efficient and having a great cerebral mind for playing quarterback. And I would say he's been one of the great mentors of myself on how to really focus in on my mind and making sure that I'm the best every single play instead of thinking of a previous play or a future play or a future situation. And so I really give a lot of props to him. I also work on our mental coach, Greg Chow, as well. So I really give a lot of props to him as well. I really help myself stay sharp in my cerebral focus so that I would execute every single play like it's the most important play.
We only got 34 stars for the We got a running back with 1,000 yards. We got another running back with 900 yards. You got a wide receiver with 800 yards. You got another wide receiver with 800 plus yards. You said it doesn't matter. We only got 4 stars. Does it really matter about the sport?
It does and it doesn't, because, like you said, no 5-star on your team, but we have a lot of college 5-stars. Going to the NFL, we have a lot of college 5-stars. And I think it's really like, the stars they place a mark on you at that point in your journey. At that point in my journey, I'm not gonna lie, I said I was a 5-star prospect. I was a 2-star prospect. I sucked. Like, I was not very good. However, it's that point in the journey, and a lot of kids kind of get wrapped around in that identity on, oh, that's who I am. At that point, you can still improve. I was a 2-star then, and now I've been better than a 2-star playing there. And so it's only a little mark, a little identification, just because college recruiting is so tough nowadays. However, it's your decision at that point on how you're going to have your work ethic and how you're going to develop as a player to get better and better and better every single day. And a lot of our players that are 3 and 4 stars that have all those great stats, as you mentioned, have really put in the work ethic and have really, changed their mindset and not let themselves fall into the trap of that's their identity. They've let themselves believe in themselves and through all the trial tribulations through their career, such as myself, overcome those in order to become great college football players.
Fernando, we went to your high school.
Love it. Yeah, I remember actually, funny enough, that high school team when I was a sophomore was filled with a lot of University of Miami talent. A lot of players who play at the University of Miami. And so I would say that, throwing that pass to Henry Parrish, who's a former player of Miami, it was a great feeling because you have so many senior leaders. And it really just showed myself the way, whenever I get to that leadership part, I'm going to try to become the best and really help the younger players grow and develop because they've helped myself grow and develop. I think it's a really special part of Columbus. And that's why Columbus football is so successful. It's not because of the talent, it's because of the coaches and the leadership on that team to really go as one, have that glue in order to accomplish a larger goal. I would say, I would say Google me. Google me is, it's great. And I would say that, it comes off a certain way, but I would say it's really about, production and resume. And so it's really about, hey, it's not your potential, it's about what you've done and how you're going to put that into your future. And so I really respect that.
Definitely one of our biggest challenges. Those guys are fantastic players, man. You see them, they definitely stick out on the field.
And if you had to choose a career outside of football, what would you do?
Yeah, I would say I do not have a LinkedIn post. I don't want to jinx anything because I'm big into that. Like, I don't want to, have a LinkedIn post. I mean, if we do win, I probably will post, but the same as anybody would. Everybody would post on Instagram, on Snapchat, hey, we won. So, hopefully if, God allows us to win, then, I most likely will post something on LinkedIn. And what was the second question again?
If you had another career outside of football, what would you do?
Yeah, I would say I'm very type A personality, so I would say I want to get into some investment banking or finance. Thank you.
Talk about your brain. After every game, that's the first thing you go to. You speak about God. You haven't been afraid to do that. Just what you can say about your faith, why it centers you, and why it's important for you to share it with other people.
Yeah, in today's day and age, it can be very discouraging to talk about your faith, especially on national television. However, I always want to stay true to myself and stay true to my authentic self. And so I know that, God has gotten me to this point, and I owe so much to Him. So I really can't thank Him enough and give Him all the glory because He's done so much, not just for myself, but for my teammates and for my family throughout this entire journey. Without Him, I would not be here. I would not, have this opportunity that I have today without Him. So I always just try to give Him thanks and try to inspire, younger athletes, as I've been inspired by older athletes like Tim Tebow and such, to always, if they're religious, to always give the honor and glory to God, whether it's encouraged or discouraged.
I was going to say, my girlfriend.
Mendoza brother merger. I know that there's been a lot of what does that mean? How appreciative you are? I spoke to him in Schwartzman, and he had nothing but kind things to say about you guys. What are what's your two of the two? Which one do you prefer?
Yeah, I would say they're both great food items. One's a breakfast item, one's a lunch or dinner item. So if I'm in a breakfast mood, I'm taking the bagel. If I'm lunch or dinner mood, I'm taking the burger. However, I think it really means a lot to myself. NIL can be seen in such a negative light. And everyone's like, oh, NIL, playing at Bears, players, paying the players has gone overboard. It's not really for a good cause. However, my thought is like, hey, I've been inspired by other college players. Let's do it for a good cause. And so my mother struggled with multiple sclerosis, and so I think it's really important that all the proceeds of that burden that I would get goes to that research, because I know how much it means to myself. Multiple sclerosis, fighting that battle, and I also know how much it means to my mother, and just putting Indiana and NIL in a positive light nowadays. Yeah, so I don't know if the contact situation, our marketing team handles that. That was a great interview at House of Highlights. I really enjoyed that interview. And I think it'd be very cool if you write us out. It'd be kind of like Lil Wayne and the Packers. If you've ever seen that video, it's pretty funny. And it's pretty cool. And I mean, there's so many different blues and songs that I would say. Personally, I don't want to say that my favorite song, because it's a little bit more like a low-key song. I want a song that everybody, knows. And so I'm just trying to think of those most popular songs. I mean, I would say, like, songs that everybody knows, like Money Longer or Racial Social. Those are kind of like old school songs they play later in this week and everybody was singing along to. Thanks. If I was a fan, I would say there's a lot of different, performances I would want. However, as a player, personally, I don't really like halftime performances because it usually gives a longer halftime and more anticipation going into the second half. And you don't want to kind of think yourself too much in the second half game plan. You want to make the adjustments, go and execute. I mean, there's so many different artists, especially in Miami. There's so many different. It's just a cultural melting pot. There's so many different. So I mean, I really give it up to the fans and whoever wants, the fans. I don't know if there's going to be a halftime performance, but I like the halftime short and sweet so you can get back to playing football. Ollie.
There's going to be a lot of noise around and noise and family and all of the people across the country here. How are you trying to
fighting or something like that? Just because
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks, Mr. Bro, for the question. I would say that it's a lot of distraction, a lot of externalities. However, myself, I'm always trying to take away those externalities because I know how much it means to my teammates, my coaches, and Hoosier Nation. And so I can be selfish saying, oh, it's Miami, it's a homecoming and stuff like that. But in reality, all that matters is the football game. And whether we win or lose the football game, I know that I'm going to be able to sleep or rest at night, know I did everything possible to prepare for this game and everything possible in order to help the Hoosiers win this game. And so I'm really doing this game because although it means a lot to myself, being from Miami, having family in Miami, growing up a University of Miami fan, it's a national championship. It means so much for Bloomington, means so much for my teammates, and it would just mean so much for everybody around that I really want to put a spotlight on not myself, but everybody. Because the national championship, it wasn't like a normal regular season game, yeah, but it's a national championship. Everybody wants to win this one. Thanks.
Indiana quarterback, talking with Fernando Mendoza here. Fernando, like I said, you did last March, you just got to Indiana, and it was all still fresh, you were learning the playbook. When did you realize that you could have this type of special season?
Yeah, back in March, I did not know I was going to have this type of special season. And especially also during spring ball, I was like, wow, our defense is really good. I might not be as good as I think I am either. However, growing and having the struggles against our defense, growing with the coaching staff, and growing by players, it's been an exponential journey in order to grow and learn football. And I've been so grateful to God and my teammates that have propelled me to this moment of having the opportunity to play in the national championship. As I'm so excited for the opportunity to play, I really just want to go to Hoosier Nation for this.
5 minutes remaining in the Indiana Hoosiers radio session.
Around all your loved ones, basically a home game.
I know some media before the year mentioned Miami. I was like, wow, that'd be super cool, but at that point I said, not unrealistic, but it's just so far in the future that let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And now, it's always been very unpleasant moment. However, now playing Miami is a pleasant moment. So it means a lot to myself, it means a lot to my team to play Miami, and also just play the national championship in general.
What are the biggest challenges in this Miami? Talk about how your defense was when you first started playing against it. How has that helped you? And what are you expecting Monday night?
Well, it's funny because both defensive coordinators come from the same defensive coordinator tree. They actually coached together at JMU. And, Bain, Mesidor, both first-round picks. And just draft picks all around the defense. There's so much talent, there's so much passion. And especially them playing in Miami. It's going to be a very tough matchup for us and a challenge I look forward to trying to overcome. Thanks so much. God bless.
Ready to come back to the center.
Oh, for Bloomington or just in general? In general, yeah, I would say one of the great lessons I've learned in the classroom is back at my time at Berkeley. I took a class called Improv Leadership, and that was huge for my development as a quarterback. You really need to be essentially a little calculated in leadership and really learn how to lead on the fly. It's a great, great drive, you guys score a touchdown, or if it's not a great drive, you need to punt the ball. There's so many different scenarios in football, and there's so many different ways as the margins are so small that improv leadership class has really helped me get outside my leadership comfort zone. And really helped me, I think, propel myself as a leader in order to, thrive on the football field. Not only just as a player, but also people like being a quarterback as a leader is so important and can actually elevate your play and has elevated my play, learning from the great leaders in the Indiana football team as well. Jack, what's up, bro? Doing good.
Send me a LinkedIn message before it was cool back in September. Now you're watching the video.
Yeah, so all my boys, I showed on social media that was like a big conspiracy theory. Oh, it's not Fernando. And I kind of felt like an idiot because I spelled University of Indiana wrong. It's Indiana University. And I'm like, wow, can Jack please stop posting this? It looks really bad, but I mixed it up. But, luckily got that fixed. I appreciate that, That's probably back then why I wasn't getting that many connections. I feel like this guy's they thought it was a scam. But now, thankfully, through the tip, I switched it around to the right, to the right portion.
So what is your favorite video besides the one we're doing?
Oh, here's your one for Monday. Oh, I would say. So bad. No, I checked that. I forgot exactly what the video was titled, but I remember you guys did one on Texas. That was my favorite video. I think it was early in the year. Yeah, because one of my friends, one of my best friends, Jack Andrews, plays for Texas. He's number 87, starting tight end there. He's now declared for the NFL draft. And so I was like, I wonder what Texas is like. Let's see what it's like. And so I watched that videos. And just in the past, a lot of, shorts or reels or just, watched. I remember it was a Nebraska one too I watched. So it was good. Good time. Appreciate it. Thank you. God bless. Yeah, I would say that it's really easy to get, mixed up, especially with the pro stuff. How those guys aren't, props to them. I think they're all great players. How they're not a part of this team right here. And so our team is really, Coach Dan's done a great job of putting the blinders on, hey, transport, everyone's going to need to compete, Whoever you are, you're going to need to compete, especially in this program. That's something I learned. That was not handed the job going into this program. And I think it's just a really big part of just always competing, always trying to strive to be the best, player you could be personally. And we all realize that transport stuff is great, and Indiana's reloading as we're a great college football program. We're focused on the national championship. You reloading the transport to be in the national football championship, and so we know how much it means to Hoosier Nation and to my teammates, and so we're always focused on this team right now. I am always confident that Fernando Mendoza is going to be the best college football quarterback. I know how good he is. I know he's going to be a better college football quarterback than me, and however, right now, just all my prep is on the national championship game. Can I take one more for them? The talent, the speed. When I was playing high school football, the speed going from high school to college, everyone says, hey, it's a huge jump. For me, it was a jump, but it wasn't like an astronomical jump. The plethora of players that we have in South Florida it's just incredible to even think about. We have D'Angelo Pons, who is also an underrated kid in our team. We have Amari Farrell from Florida, Jamari Sharp from Northwestern. So many different guys from Miami thriving their college football careers in Indiana, in the University of Miami. And just all around college football. It's just such great competition, and iron sharpens iron, and makes us all better. Thanks, guys.
We're going to close this thing out as the Hoosiers head back to their hotel with Aiden Fisher, and we were just
together. Then I think when you watch that team play, you can see that and it kind of reflects on how much each one play for each other and need each other.
I'm curious because